Right now on WRTV, the governor and his wife under quarantine, the message he is sharing with the public as COVID cases rise, and the latest on Governor Holcomb's staffers who tested positive for the illness.
Many public annual traditions have been put on hold because of the coronavirus, but tonight we are learning the drumstick dash will still go on, but there will be some changes for runners on Thanksgiving Day.
So we are hurting. We are hurting really bad.
Challenges for business owners at the Indianapolis City Market tonight. They hope a new director will help turn things around.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 5, streaming now.
The state's weekly COVID-19 update had a slightly different presentation, but the message remains the same. Indiana must take decisive steps to curb a pandemic that continues to spiral out of control. Thanks for joining us here at 5. I'm Mark Mullins.
And I'm Amanda Starantino. Governor Holcomb had to participate in today's press conference via phone. And that's because he and Mrs. Holcomb are under self-quarantine at home after several members of Holcomb's security detail tested positive for coronavirus. The governor says he and his wife are doing fine, as are staffers, although some are showing symptoms. The Holcombs will be tested later this week to get a more accurate reading. Meanwhile, community spread of the virus remains at very high levels, as indicated by this color-coded map. It shows 21 counties in red, the most critical level, and 72 counties in orange, the next most serious level. And while the map is concerning, Health Commissioner Dr. Christina Bach says if you look at the number of cases per 100,000, the picture is even more worrisome. Based on that metric alone, the entire state of Indiana is in the red.
And as we've been reporting, officials are concerned the Thanksgiving holiday season will boost the numbers even higher, especially with college students coming home and staying at home until at least January. And even if your student takes a test while on campus and comes up negative, Dr. Bach says caution is still necessary.
We know that these rapid tests are just a snapshot in time, so we want to remind the students that if they were recently exposed, they could test negative, but just be too early to be showing up positive. So my guidance to every student coming home is this: behave as if you have COVID or have been exposed. When you get home, plan to spend those 14 days in quarantine, even in your own home. Wear a mask, even in your own home. Don't see your grandma or other elderly relatives until you complete that 14-day period without any symptoms. Use a separate bathroom if one is available. And please, don't head out to the bars or hang out with all the friends that you haven't seen for months. You need to keep those social bubbles small.
As for today's numbers, the number of new positive cases is back above 6,000. Those results recorded between November 9th and yesterday. 60 more Hoosiers have died with COVID-19. Those numbers occurred between November 5th and yesterday. The statewide total is now 4,830. The Hamilton Southeastern School District is mourning the loss of the head cook at one of their elementary schools due to COVID-19. Today, Superintendent Alan Borff tweeted that Pam Potney died last night. She was entering her 8th year as the head cook at Thorpe Creek Elementary School in Fishers. The announcement of her death comes a day after the superintendent announced Hamilton Southeastern students in kindergarten through 6th grade would move to virtual learning. That move takes effect tomorrow. 7th through 12th grade students began virtual learning this past Monday.
Even with the pandemic, the traditional drumstick dash is still running this year. The race, held every Thanksgiving morning in downtown Indy for the past 18 years, is moving forward despite the rising COVID-19 cases. The drumstick dash was started to raise awareness for funds for services to the homeless. Because of the pandemic, Wheeler Mission says they've had to expand their shelter space. The city has opened 2 hotels to serve as overflow shelters during the winter. And Wheeler has had to hire additional staff to manage them. Though the coronavirus is still active in our community, they say they will be able to put on a safe race.
People might be wondering, how can you socially distance when you're at a race?
Yeah, that's a good question. Like I said, we were marking off on the start line areas that we feel people should stand, and we'll have constant announcements from the stage and from the jumbotron to maintain social distance, stay in your family bubbles, because we do have a lot of families participate.
Race leaders ensure they have taken the proper safety precautions so everyone feels safe this year. They had to submit a risk mitigation plan to the health department and worked with them to get approval. It's grown to become the 50th largest running event in the country. The race typically registers about 20,000 people a year. But this year, it will be reduced to 20% capacity. 3,000 people are allowed to run at a time with 2 different start times. People can also arrive and start whenever they want to avoid crowds. There will also be no water stations. Prepackaged food goodie bags will be provided after the race, and masks are required the entire time except when running. Kyle, if this weather stays the same, you're not going to have to bundle up that much.
Yeah, I was going to say, a beautiful day for an outdoor run today across central Indiana. We continue to enjoy that beautiful sunshine, and that's warming things up a little bit for us. Temperatures today did make their way back into the lower 50s, still sitting at 50 degrees in Shelbyville, while it's 48 in Indy and 49 for you in the Bloomington area. There's all that sunshine. Now, there are more clouds off to the north. Don't really think we're going to see an increase in cloud cover here until we get into the upcoming weekend. Really, our biggest weather issue is again going to be windy conditions. It's not too bad out there right now, but it is out of the south around 15 miles per hour. We've got a wind advisory that goes in effect at 10 a.m. tomorrow for much of central Indiana here, as we could have those gusts again topping 40 miles per hour. So it does look like it's going to be a windy Thursday for us. And this evening, those breezes will kick up between about 20 and 30 miles per hour, but that also keeps those temperatures fairly steady. We are still in the lower 40s here at 10 o'clock. We'll talk about some warmer days and break down that timeline for those gusty winds in a few minutes.
The Indianapolis City Market has a new executive director. She just started this week and joins as merchants continue to face several challenges and businesses inside continue to close. WRTV's Megan Sanctorum is working to find out what her plans are to revitalize the market and help these small business owners survive the pandemic.
This is not what the city market used to look like during the lunch hour. Merchants continue to struggle with low foot traffic, but they're hoping with new leadership comes new support and new ideas to bring more people through the doors.
We've been here for 32 years and did great, and all of a sudden everything changed. It just literally died.
Lily Stockton is just one of the small business owners inside City Market.
This debt, never. We have up and downs, no doubt about it, but never like this.
The pandemic taking a major toll on foot traffic. But over the past few months, we've told you about other issues these businesses faced as well, like loitering, crime, and road construction right outside on Market Street.
Many businesses left altogether.
Like this one right by her.
It's scary.
3 Days in Paris Crepes closed just days ago, taping this note up for customers.
You don't barely have any neighbors anymore.
That's one of the challenges new director Keisha Gray is facing.
We're very much looking forward to. So figuring out how else we can utilize the space, especially during COVID times, we're going to have to rethink a lot of things. We can't be the big gathering place that it once was.
When asked about specific plans, Gray said she's still working to figure those out. She said her first priority right now is just meeting with individual business owners.
I know that there are a few merchants who have some ideas. I've been made aware that they have ideas not just for their own businesses, but for things that can help all of the merchants, and I certainly want to tap into that.
She said she's also looking at bringing finance or marketing experts in to work directly with business owners. Gray's background includes running a library in the Chicago area. She hopes to use her experience there to bring new life here.
At the end of the day, everything is about connecting people with the space. What I'm hoping that the city market returns to is that foodie destination that people will travel all over the country to come to.
At this point, it's just hope is all that we have to. Hope that she will help us getting our feet again, and maybe working all together, we can do something about it.
Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, WRTV.
Thank you.
The Indiana Attorney General's office is urging you to apply for a chunk of the state settlement Indiana won for the massive Equifax data breach. The Equifax data breach happened back in 2017 and resulted in countless Hoosiers becoming victims of identity theft. Many states sued Equifax over the breach, and Indiana won the largest settlement at $19.5 million. The last day for Hoosiers to file claims is December 16th. But Attorney General Curtis Hill said Hoosiers should file their claims as soon as possible.
Anyone who was a resident of the state of Indiana between March of 2017 and July of 2017, we would encourage them to apply. they may or may not have been impacted, but most people don't really have any idea of whether they've been impacted or not. So once people apply, then our office would check the records to see if they would then qualify for recovery at that point. So best thing is, if you're a resident in the state of Indiana between March 2017 and July 2017, you've got nothing to lose by applying.
An estimated 4 million Hoosiers were likely impacted by the data breach. The breach compromised Social Security numbers, dates of birth, addresses, and in some cases, driver's license numbers and credit card information. To file a claim, go to IndianaEquifaxClaims.com.
There will soon be a new top prosecutor at the U.S. Attorney's Office in Indianapolis. Today, Josh Minkler announced he is stepping down effective Saturday. Minkler has been a federal prosecutor with the Southern District since 1994. He was appointed by President Trump to the U.S. Attorney post in 2017. The news of his resignation came just hours before he attended an event in Kokomo. He was there to recognize current and former Kokomo police officers for their work with federal agents in helping dismantle a drug trafficking organization.
This was a big deal for Kokomo and for us to eliminate that organization and make the streets of Kokomo safer.
Minkler is leaving to take a position in a private law firm in the Indianapolis area beginning Monday. Minkler's top assistant, John Childress, will become acting U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Indiana when Minkler's resignation takes effect. Up next on WRTV News at 5, working from home this year could cost you. We need to run down some of the extra taxes you may need to pay, all because of the COVID-19 pandemic and the restrictions that came with it.
And the sun continues to shine, but we've got some more wet weather in the forecast. In fact, we could see close to an inch of rain in some areas. I'll break down when exactly that could interrupt your weekend plans. You're watching WRTV News at 5.
If you are one of the millions working from home due to the pandemic, you could be in for a bit of a shock at tax time next year. Consumer reporter John Matarese explains why you may have to pay some extra taxes so you don't waste your money.
So you've gotten used to working from home and you'd like to continue doing it, even if the pandemic ends next spring? Well, watch out. Some states are considering new taxes on home-based workers.
This is Tony. How can I help you today?
Working from home means more time with family, less time commuting.
I just wanted to talk to you.
So why should you have to pay income tax to a city you don't work in anymore? Because they desperately need it, according to Bloomberg News. Since the pandemic began, a growing number of cities passed laws requiring you to pay income tax where your company is located. It's all about the money. Cities like New York and Chicago could be decimated if all the people now working remotely no longer paid city tax. It's a rule called convenience of the employer, though there's really nothing convenient about it. And from the Doesn't That Stink file, states now thinking about an extra tax on all at-home workers. Bloomberg News reports a proposal for a 5% income tax for public transit, highways, and other infrastructure not getting used as much. Proponents say home-based workers are saving that much money with no gas, parking, mass transit, and lunch fees every day. But any new tax still stinks. Now, many companies are planning to keep workers home through next summer, and that could really take a toll on cities with empty offices. So just don't waste your money. I'm John Matarese, WRTV.
The Pacers take another step closer to the new season tonight. The NBA draft is being held virtually. The league will announce picks from the ESPN studios in Connecticut. The Pacers hold only the 54th overall pick. They could make a move up in a trade. And the NBA's announced plans for the upcoming season. A 72-game schedule will begin on December 22nd. They are releasing only half the games initially. The All-Star break is scheduled for the second week of March, but no indication if any of the events will take place here in Indianapolis. The playoffs will begin before Memorial Day and wrap up in mid-July. The college basketball season starts a week from tonight. Purdue joining the list of schools that will have mostly empty arenas for now. The university released this statement saying they'll play without fans in Mackey Arena indefinitely. Athletics Director Mike Popinski did say that parents of players and immediate family of coaches will be allowed access. Similar policies are in place at IU and many other Big Ten schools. Kyle's here with a look at our forecast. Hey, Kyle.
Yeah, and things not too bad out there today, but probably not exactly swimming weather, I would say. But we found some geese that were out there on White River this afternoon. You notice a little ripple in that water. We had some breezy conditions here. May see some whitecaps on some of that water as we go into tomorrow. We've got some gusty winds going to be kicking in once again. Temperatures are warming though, so fortunately it's a warmer wind for us. Numbers that are running about 5 to 10 degrees above where they were this time yesterday, so we're heading in that right direction with the sunny skies. Our temperature in the upper 40s downtown, 51 for you in Lafayette, 49 in the Bloomington area. Right now those winds out of the south around 10 to 15 miles per hour, and that does keep us a little warmer tonight with those clear skies. Instead of starting off around 30 degrees, we'll be closer to 40. Upper 30s for you though in Noblesville, 39 in Columbus, and right around 40 in the Greenwood area. Lots of sunshine again for our Thursday, but we are going to see those windy conditions. Look at the temperatures though here. We'll already get into the lower 50s by mid-morning, and as we head into the afternoon, we're talking about temperatures getting into the lower 60s. So you'll need that jacket in the morning, but as we head into the afternoon, should feel pretty good out there. Above average, no records though this time around. Those are going to be safe in the 70s. High temperature for you of 64 in Muncie and Lafayette. Pretty popular number actually as we go throughout our Thursday afternoon. But here's a look at those wind gusts that kind of take a little warmth out of the air for us. We'll see several gusts here over 40 miles per hour, between about 40 and 50 mile per hour gusts, and that will last especially through the first half of the day. As we get into the afternoon with those breezy conditions, we're also going to have some very low humidity levels, so enhanced fire danger again tomorrow. As we go through time, we're going to see those mild temperatures only lasting a couple of days here. We'll actually get back below average as we go into next week, and this weekend's really going to be that transition for us. We've got highs back in the 50s Saturday and Sunday, and the chance for some scattered showers. On Saturday, you can see some light rain across the area. I don't think it's going to be all that widespread on Saturday. A little more as we go into the day on Sunday, and then as that system passes on through, it'll bring in some colder air, but could leave us with about 3/4 to an inch of rainfall here for the upcoming weekend. Put it all together now in that 7-day planning forecast, looking pretty nice here the next couple of days despite the wind. We'll have high temperatures 64 for you on Thursday, 62 Friday, then we'll drop it by about 10 degrees here as we increase the clouds around Saturday with a few of those showers. Look at the 7-day planning forecast. Your highs in the 50s again on Sunday, and then we're back to the 40s here on Monday. It looks like we got one dry day in there, and then another weather system bumps up those temperatures a little bit, but also brings the return of some rain late week and just ahead of the Thanksgiving holiday.
Kyle, thank you. There is still so much we are learning and don't know yet about COVID-19. Could you be at greater risk if you use e-cigarettes? Still ahead, what researchers are learning right now. Vaping and COVID-19. Could using e-cigarettes put you at greater risk for viral infections like coronavirus or the flu? It's a question researchers at the University of North Carolina are looking into right now. Zach Dahlheimer with our Scripps station in Norfolk talked to one of the researchers involved in this study.
E-cigarette use has been shown from this study not to be safe.
Dr. Megan Rabuli and others at UNC are studying the impacts of viral infections on e-cigarette users.
We want to know what factors will affect someone more. So will smoking make you more at risk for COVID, or will e-cigarette use make you more at risk for COVID?
In a study, researchers found vaping e-cigarettes could impair your body's normal immune response to viral infections.
E-cigarette users and smokers had a less powerful immune response against the virus. What we found is that these genes and proteins that are really critical to making sure that your immune process and your immune response to this virus is working at top capacity were impaired. This is really critical when it comes to respiratory viruses and could also potentially be applicable to something like the coronavirus.
As we find more out about e-cigarettes, we find that they're more dangerous than we once thought.
Medical expert Dr. Ryan Light says the study is important to cut back or stop e-cigarette use to keep you safe.
An ounce of prevention at this point is worth a pound of cure.
Both Light and Rabuli believe it's also a reminder to keep up with health guidelines during the pandemic, especially if you vape.
Maybe this should indicate that they need to take kind of hyper vigilance or hyper awareness when they're using PPE, when they're maintaining 6-foot distance, when they're washing their hands.
And for more information about the health risks and effects of using e-cigarettes, you can check out the CDC website.
All new at 6 p.m. for some of those who make it out the other side of COVID-19, it still is not over. We investigate the long-term effects of the virus. And putting teeth in a mask-wearing ordinance, the county where businesses could now be fined.